Well, hello, and thank you so much. It's nice to be here. I'd like to welcome you all here. You're the audience. In other words, you're the people who are smart enough not to be at Lollapalooza. Yeah. You know, there's the air pollution and all that stuff going on. This is so great. You should feel real honored to come here because this year they have the largest assortment of guests that they've ever had here at Flashback Weekend. And you should feel fortunate because if you go back, I don't think anybody in the past ever had the opportunities that you do. For example, when the Universal movies were big, there wasn't a place where you could go or you see like Lon Chaney Jr. and he'd say, "You've got to help me. When the moon is full, my mortgage is due, so please buy one of my 8x10s. Or Bill Lugosi, you know, he'd be looking at you and he'd say, "Please, I would like you to take a selfie." Then he would take it. When you looked at it, you wouldn't see anybody but you. It would be very strange. We are so happy to be here and have some great guests for you tonight. Coming first is a gentleman I met a few years ago, and he is outstanding. You all know him, you've been scared by him. He's got a great sense of humor, which a lot of scared people don't. And I'm so proud to be able to present him here. He is the iconic Freddy Krueger, Robert Englund. Tonight, Robert is portraying the Invisible Man. There's been a problem. Ladies and gentlemen,
I am not Robert Englund, but I just wanted to, Mike with Flashback Weekend, just wanted to thank everyone here for coming tonight because you all know that my wife and I, we own a drive-in movie theater, and all the money from Flashback Weekend goes to the Midway Drive-In. And yes. And as all of you know, Flashback Weekend is a really, it's a horror film festival. It's based on cinema and love of film, and it's not just a convention. So when we founded Flashback, it was envisioned to be a series of movie showings in the evening and then a convention during the day. And the goal was to bring great cinema legends in to celebrate film. And what's fascinating is about everyone in this room is that horror fans don't like horror for the blood and the guts. We love independent film. And horror movies are very, very special because they're made by auteurs, people who are artists, and they work in the independent film world and yielded these classic movies like Night of the Living Dead, George Romero, and Tobe Hooper, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So all these great artists and filmmakers got their start in horror movies. So horror movies are really very, very smart and special, and that's what me and I have loved about everyone in this audience, is that the horror movie is that all of you are so smart, and that it's not like, oh, let's go see a horror movie with blood and guts. It's, you know, we love the film techniques, the cinema, the special effects of the makeup effects, and so we just wanted to thank everyone and all of you. So thank you. And Rich, tell us a little bit about your thoughts on that, about how special horror fans are.
thank you. I'll sit down and do that. I'm an old man. What do you want? I have to say that one of the most pleasant parts of my job is when I go out to appearances and meet all of the horror fans. People think, oh, horror fans are weirdos and they're this and they're that. The horror fans are the nicest people and the kindest people I've ever met. And we all have this great devotion to the horror genre, and it kind of, holds us all together. It's like we're one big family. And I know how some people feel about their families.
Hey! Hello!
Why? Hi, it's Nick DiGilio, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello! Hey, I'm your Ed McMahon for the evening. Google it.
Do the laugh. The Ed McMahon laugh.
Yes, I've been married 12 times. How about you? Actually, Robert is finishing up his photo ops right now.
Okay.
So, Sven?
Yes.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you.
Good. All right, thanks. So,
I have one thing. My associate Ella, wherever you are, I can't see you because of the lights. So if I'm going to get time cues, I don't know what I'm going to do. Anyway.
So, Sven, you are now 46 years doing?
Yeah, that's about right.
46 years doing Svengoolie. And that's an amazing accomplishment. Are you tired?
Am I tired?
Yeah.
Well, no.
Okay. I was just checking.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that.
You're not retiring, are you?
No, that ever since we started with the Sven Squad, that has been a constant rumor. People go, "Oh, these other people are there, so you're retiring?" No, I am not retiring. Thank you. Thank you for asking.
Do you hear it all the time? Do you?
Yeah, I do, and especially this past couple of years.
Yeah.
Since we have Svengoolie and the Imp and Nostalgia Ferratu on the show, people think, okay, they're taking over right now.
Right.
And the answer is no, they're not taking over right now. And I don't even know. Maybe they won't take over. Who knows? All I know is I'm not retiring.
He's not retiring. So we should put that rumor to bed right away. So we don't need to talk about it anymore.
No, you don't have to bring it up. You don't have to speak about it.
I would have to bring it up.
You don't have to put it on your podcast.
Okay. I won't. Because
You're
my
doing your
next episode is all about you
right?
retiring.
You're doing your podcast tomorrow.
I am, yes. I am. Thank you. Thank
Sure.
you for that. Thank you for queuing that up. Thank you. Yeah, I'll tee that one off. Yeah, that's great. Yes, tomorrow at 12:30 in this very room, I will be doing my podcast live. And my special guest will be Dee Wallace from Howard.
Nice.
And my partner, Esmeralda Leon, who is my co-host, she's in the house too, Esmeralda. She'll be here.
Oh, excellent.
So, yeah, it'll be great. But thank you. Hey, you mentioned our fantastic first guest, your fantastic first guest, the great Robert Englund. Do you remember the first time that you saw Robert Englund on screen? Do you remember?
Yes, I do. The first time I actually saw him, that I knew it was him, was I think the movie Buster and Billy.
Oh yeah, do you guys remember Buster and Billy? Google it.
And the first time I saw him as Freddy was in a TV commercial for the original movie, and the parts that were in it was him walking down the alley with his arms expanding, and for some reason I thought this must be like a foreign or Italian movie, because it had such a different feel from any of the other movies that I have seen, no horror movies at that time.
Yeah, it was groundbreaking. I mean, in 1984, nothing was really like it. We had all those slasher movies in the early 80s.
Right, yes.
They were all named after holidays. and then all of a sudden this crazy movie comes out that Wes Craven makes, changed the game entirely.
The holiday movies, I was most frightened by St. Swithin's Day. That was it.
Is that the one?
Google it.
Google it.
Yeah, okay.
And you've worked with Robert many times.
Yes, we've had some great times here. I'm going to talk to him about the first time that we did a show like this together. And I've seen him any number of times, mostly here. And I have to say, he's just such a great guy and has been very kind to me. He's given me advice on things. So I think we're going to have a great conversation.
There's no question about it.
If he ever gets here.
He's How many people have met Robert before? Did you guys get your photo ops yet? You're going tomorrow or Saturday? Yeah, tomorrow. Or tomorrow or Saturday?
Well, you can choose either one.
Oh, I see.
Sure.
I see. The Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Do you have a favorite?
The original.
The original.
I really like the original, though I did like the New Nightmare.
Yeah, the New Nightmare
I thought that was especially a great slant on it.
Mm-hmm. And then the other guests that you have coming up after the great Robert Englund, the phenomenal director Joe Dante.
Yeah.
Do you have director of so many great movies?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I always think of Gremlins immediately, but he's done so much more than that.
Yeah.
And I've learned some interesting facts about him that I'm going to bring up when we talk.
And then also coming up, we have the great Barbara Crampton.
Barbara Crampton?
Yeah.
Who every time, and I'm going to tell her every time that I see posts from her on someplace like Twitter. She's always got another project coming up.
Yeah.
So she stays busy, and she's great.
Yeah. And then Tuesday night's going to come up from
Tuesday
Nightmare on Elm Street
night.
4. She's going to perform for you.
Yeah,
right?
she's a singer, and we will have her up here to sing the opening credits song from Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master.
The Dream Master, yes. Yes. What do you have coming up on the show tomorrow?
Oh, it's a big, exciting one. If you like stop motion animation, and you know who Willis O'Brien is, the man that did King Kong, he's responsible for the monsters in this. It's an exciting movie called The Black Scorpion.
Oh, yeah.
It's exciting because you've never heard applause for a scorpion before. There's mass destruction going on after an earthquake in Mexico, but there's certain things that are damaged that it doesn't seem to be earthquake-type damage, and it turns out to be, can you guess?
Black Scorpion?
Really? Yeah.
What the hell? Yeah.
It'll be extra action-packed. So you can tune in for that. If you don't see it and you're here tomorrow night, it will rerun on locally here on WCIU the next Saturday at 11 a.m.
Yeah, which happens every week on the following Saturday.
Well, the Black Scorpion doesn't happen.
No, not the Black Scorpion.
Yeah,
I looked at the upcoming schedule, Rich. Sven. What? Sorry, Sven. I'm wearing a tie. That doesn't happen very often. Cutting off the blood to my neck.
Okay.
to my neck. You've got the great Peter Cushing is coming up in a couple of classic.
Yeah, we have
movies.
some great Hammer movies, which are both the first of their original ones for Dracula and Frankenstein. And again, also Christopher Lee in both of them.
Yeah.
In the Frankenstein one, he is the monster. And the story I heard was he went to Peter Cushing and said, I don't have any lines. And Peter Cushing said, you're lucky. Maybe he didn't like the script that much. I don't know.
I've never heard that before.
Really?
He said that?
Supposedly, yes.
I love that movie. What the hell?
No, it's great, and so is The Horror of Dracula, which is the first Dracula movie they made with Christopher Lee for the first time as Dracula and Peter Cushing as Van Helsing.
Yeah.
And they were to play that several times through their careers at Hammer Studios.
I also...
you keep looking that way. Are you trying to find an escape route?
What? Huh? What? Also, I love the story about the first movie that you showed on your show 46 years ago.
1979.
1979.
In June.
Yeah.
In the year 2889.
Classic.
Which was also the budget for the movie, 2889. I think it had Paul Peterson in it from the Donna Reed show. And I remember very little about it.
Yeah.
And you notice I haven't played it again, ever.
You've never played it since?
No, I have never
Oh my
played
God,
it again.
really?
And
Are
just
there any
for
other
that-
movies that you've never played again other than that one?
I'd have to think about
You'd have
that.
to
And
think about
honestly, I don't remember. It's
Yeah.
all a blur to me. 46 years, you don't quite grasp every single nuance.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, so you're not retiring. Are you retiring?
Nick, may I say something? I'm not retiring.
Okay. I just thought I'd ask.
I was almost Kirk Douglas there for a second. I'm not retiring.
Wow, that's good. Google it. So, you know what? You went to San Diego to the San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah, for the first
Just
time.
last week, right?
Just last week.
How
And
about
brought
that?
with
San Diego Comic-Con.
the Sven Squad people. It was unusual for us because it was the first time with them, but also none of us were in makeup. And I was a little worried when we were heading there, like, I don't know if the crowds are going to like that. But they were great. Nobody complained about it. We signed autographs and we did a special panel moderated by Dan DiDio, former DC Comics editor. And we did it to a full house. It was great. We had such a good time. And I'm hoping we'll be able to go again.
Now, was that your first time at
That was my
Comic-Con San
first
Diego?
time there, yeah. And we had such limited time, I didn't get to look around too much, but it's incredible. We've gone to the New York Comic-Con, And this has to be 5 times larger than that. It's unbelievable. There's stuff inside. There's stuff on the outside all over the place. It's amazing.
When you went national with MeTV, how soon after that you went national did you see letters and fans from all over the world? Because I mean, you went to the San Diego Comic-Con. You were just a local dude for a long time. When did that start? After
it actually started, I think, once the national thing started gaining momentum, maybe 9 months in. Mm-hmm. And because it takes people a while to find things, especially if it's a network that they're not familiar with. But then from there, it was all uphill, and it was pretty amazing. I'm always still amazed to have people from all over the country saying they're watching the show and that they like it. I've always said that fans of horror movies, everybody had their first horror host, and it's like Doctor Who. Everybody says your favorite doctor is the first doctor you see, and I think it's the same with horror hosts. But the great thing is, even the ones who have had other hosts have accepted us, and they're part of our viewership now. So that's pretty cool.
That is really cool. I mean, so and now you get fans from around the world, right? I mean,
yeah, I'm not sure how they see it, but there are ways, I guess, on the internet. I don't know if that's illegal or not, but. Yeah, I hear from people, and it's like, yeah, I'm watching you in England. And it's like, yeah, well done. Thank you so much. But it's great. It's nothing that I ever expected. People always ask me now, well, when you started, did you expect this to be, what it is today? Did you think you'd still be doing it? And I said, when I first got the job, I was thrilled to have a job on TV. And, all I was thinking about was doing a show for at least 3 months.
Yeah.
I kind of stretched from there.
Yeah, I mean, 46 years. That's a little longer than 3 months.
It's a stretch, yeah.
I
should be doing a stretch at Alcatraz. No, Alcatraz isn't around anymore.
No.
Although it might be.
It might.
I've heard rumors.
Yeah, it might be coming back. Absolutely. So, Robert Englund, who's coming
Yes,
at
he
some
will be
point
here
today. Robert. Okay, hold on. I think he's coming very soon.
All right.
Yeah.
So we don't get Mike up here again to tell a story.
He runs the place. You know that, right?
I think I better run.
You know that. All right, I'm going to get the hell off the stage.
All right. Without further ado, as I said, he's iconic in the horror field, and he's a wonderful guy. I'd like to welcome Robert Englund. Was your bus held up that you didn't get here on time?
This is my Dean Martin glass of wine. I'm the old I'm going to pretend like Rich is a Johnny Carson and bring my glass of wine in. Dean Martin used to do.
Well, first of all, it's so great to see you. And it's been how many years since we first met? I want to say since what?
Well, we met
2010?
before we met because I knew about the Chicago show.
Oh, okay.
See, because when I was a young actor, I would come audition in Chicago.
Uh-huh.
And I knew people that knew you. People from the Goodman Theater and other places.
Sure,
yeah. So I knew about you and I knew about the show. But we didn't officially meet. And then we did officially meet. But it was a long time.
I want to say it was maybe 2010.
And I don't even think it was at a Flashback weekend. I think it was something else.
It might have been, yeah. I'm getting old. I know.
We're both. Yeah. Can I just tell a quick story before
Sure.
we get funny and silly? And this is an homage, an homage to you. But today I had a young, beautiful fan, lady of a much younger generation who had a full arm vampira tattoo. And I had my flashback weekend to when I was a child, and you were a child, or you weren't even born yet, when in my suburban San Fernando Valley, California neighborhood, a woman, vampira had her show on local Los Angeles television, And she would run what some people might call old cheesy horror movies.
Sure.
But she was the vampira, but with a little bit of a beatnik, bohemian edge. And it was crossover.
Mm-hmm.
All the adults loved it as much as the children. So the adults would watch her do commercials, and they would watch her intros, and they would watch her opening, and then we kids would be left to watch Invasion of the Body Snatchers, OG, you know, or Them with
Sure.
giant ants or something. Of course, we all loved it. We didn't see any camp involved then. And we loved Elvira, you know, because she was this goth vampire girl. But I remember shortly after that one Halloween, all the moms, all the smoking, martini drinking moms with lipstick on the Pall Malls and eyes a little bit red from the chlorine in the small suburban swimming pools, all of them dressed as vampira. And that memory and the warmth of that memory, that alternative bohemian suburban place to go as a child, and to learn about the old horror movies and to see the sense of humor and the fun of that host. And we've had peaks and valleys with that over the years.
Sure.
But you've been through it and you've stuck it out so long, and it's so great, and I'm so proud of your success.
Oh, thanks.
And now and it's such a wonderful part of the American culture to have the horror movie host as part of the vernacular of popular culture, along with everything else that we, you know, celebrate. And anyway, I just want to say I'm really happy to be here. But that little exchange I had today with someone that young, with a tattoo, to commemorate another early horror talk show host, and you know, it was just a great thing, and I knew it was somehow relevant to me being your guest tonight. Thank you.
Sure.
That's all.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That was so cool. Yeah, talking about horror hosts, it used to be kind of a cyclic thing, that there'd be a lot of them all of a sudden, then it would die off. And there'd be a while, then they'd come back, and it would be for a short time. But now it's like, you know, I've been nationals for, what, 20-something years, so I guess I broke the cycle.
You not only broke the cycle, but I think also what happened was the new technology kicked in and exposed you to a new audience, because there's something that we love and need. It's hard to find the right equivalent expressions, but it's kind of a comfort food thing, you know? There's kind of a comfort food thing, like there used to be with everybody in America watching Johnny Carson, you know, and talking about it at the water cooler the next day at work. We're more fragmented now, but that doesn't mean we can't seek you out wherever you are, syndicated or otherwise, for that comfort food fix. What's on, you know, Svengoolie tonight? What's the oh my God, Invasions of the Body Snatchers, or Invaders from Mars, or whatever it is. And it's sometimes you just want that, like you want macaroni and cheese. It's just a comfort.
Especially the cheese.
I want to put my feet up, and I want to hear him crack some puns, and that's what I want to do. And you've reached this wider audience, and I think we realize now that it's just something that's part of the fabric of American entertainment.
One thing that I've noticed a lot, yes, please, thank you. When I do these appearances, I have, you know, people come up and first of all, they thank me for doing this, which is so nice. But one of the nicest things I hear is, first of all, that entire families will get together to watch the show, all different ages. And I don't think there's too many shows that happens with these days. And something I've always told about is I have people come up to me and say, I used to watch you as a kid and I watch you with my kids.
Isn't that great? Yeah.
It is.
Well, I always thought Nightmare on Elm Street films, I always thought, because I always wanted to be, and still am, a movie actor. That's all I wanted, you know, and I went through a lot of dues to become that. But that thing happens where you realize I realized how many people saw me on video or on DVD with their family, something I never anticipated. And accumulatively, I've learned that over the years from coming to the cons, because some people's parents are gone now, but they have memories of their dad with steak knives, scotch tape to his hand, on the screen door to the kitchen, going ooh, like Joe Flaherty, or a stepfather or a stepmom that was cool, or an older brother and sister, that brought us into that, and that becomes that generational thing that you're experiencing now, and it's kind of amazing for us, because we're just traveling players.
Definitely, yeah.
But there's something about that word. If you've seen old theater programs, it says the players tonight, Othello, Iago, or the players tonight, Romeo, Juliet, or players not welcome, no actors allowed in the 19th century. But we're players. And I sometimes think, do you remember back when we were all kids and there was somebody on your street or on your block that had a really cool bedroom with cool models in it that he'd put together, with glue, or they had really cool stuff, toys to share, or maybe they had a swimming pool, or they were just a cool kid, who turned you on to Dwayne Eddy or Elvis Presley,
sure,
or the Beatles or the Stones or the Who or whatever. And that was the kid that you wanted to play with.
Sure, yeah.
Can Rich come out to play? Can Robert come out to play? Knock, knock, knock. Mrs. Englund, Mrs. Cause, can they come out to play? And we get to still be the players.
Yeah.
And it's not a burden, but boy, is it a privilege.
It certainly
yeah,
is.
And
yes.
we're so grateful.
You were talking about young Robert. As a boy, what was the first movie that actually scared you?
Well, it's I'm an old fart, and things start to blend in memory.
Yeah, I know.
do remember being very intrigued by Stuart Granger in King Solomon's Mines.
Oh.
And I do remember being very freaked out by Eva Marie Saint's brother, who was thrown off the roof at the opening of Marlon Brando's On the Waterfront.
Yes.
Okay, that because my mother and father took me to see everything. One of the first things that really freaked me out, and I probably was 7 years old, was the giant squid in Walt Disney's, and don't reject Walt immediately here, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Yeah.
And to this day, I am fascinated by the Nautilus and the sailor that the giant squid with his snapping beak grabs with a tentacle and thrashes about, and he comes back down into the hold with Captain Nemo and Peter Lorre, James Mason, Kirk Douglas, and he turns to the camera and he has giant sucker marks from the suction of the tentacles of the giant squid. Well, that made little Robbie Englund poop his pants. And so that's a really old, that's still seared in my brain,
Sure.
that moment. Now, here's the great follow-up to that. So my rich cousins, the father was a film editor, and he eventually did Bonanza. We all remember Bonanza way back. But early on, I think he was doing Annie Oakley or some other, or My Little Margie, or some early 50s television show on Kineoscope before they had tape. But he was one of those families that was invited to the first day at Disneyland.
Oh, wow.
And I got to come with my cousins, my rich cousins, and I think I was there the second day.
Wow.
And it was this huge drive in those days in California through the orange groves. But I remember seeing they had the Nautilus
Right.
at Disneyland from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and it was cut in half. So all you film goers out there understand that's a cutaway. That's how they get the camera in there. And they had the actual window that was like a kaleidoscope that closed and opened. And they had Peter Lorre's wardrobe, Kirk Douglas's wardrobe, James Mason's wardrobe, all the props from the interior of the submarine. And when the window opened, this is the early 50s now, you looked out and there was dappled lighting and blowing seaweed, and they had the actual giant squid there, lit like it had been lit on the sound stage.
Wow.
That ride became the submarine ride at Disneyland with the faux submarines that went underwater. And you'd sit in it with your parents and look out a porthole. And they'd go dive, 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 and all the sound effects, etc. But originally, it was where they had the giant squid.
Yeah.
And they figured out how to light it. And of course, the seaweed and everything moved because of fans that you couldn't hear because you were on the other side of the wall. But that also, I think, prompted me to love the mystery of special effects. Cheesy, naive, beginning, and then becoming more sophisticated.
Yeah, and I don't know if you know this, but to this day, Robert will not eat calamari.
No, it's
Really, one of the worst things.
I love this guy.
You mentioned some names of Shakespearean actors or characters. You did Shakespeare, did you not?
Boy, I'm doing a hard turn from calamari. Okay. I just remembered that I understudied Mosca in Volpone.
Wow.
Mosca is Latin for fly, or
Yes.
Italian for fly. And I can do that, but no, I had several years when I was a bit of a snob, and I confess to this, I was the guy in the turtleneck and the corduroy jacket with the patches on the sleeves. Oh, I will only do Shakespeare. I'll never do television. No. I'm going to do, what happened was, I'd been an ex-gymnast, and I was very successful in the Shakespearean clowns. And I had a huge success with Comedy of Errors, and a huge success in a decent production of Merchant of Venice, playing Lancelot Gobbo, Shylock's servant. And so that gave me such confidence. But what I didn't realize was the Shakespearean clowns are not written in iambic pentameter, the Shakespearean rhythm of poetry. They're more free prose. They're much easier to do. The only problem is all the dirty words we don't know anymore. We don't know when it's a dirty joke because we don't use those words or vocabulary anymore. So you have to learn what that dirty word is in the Shakespearean slang, and you have to picture it, and then you kind of, if you really want to help yourself, you kind of accompany yourself with a gesture, and then you can get the laugh, whether it's a fart joke or whatever it is, you can get the laugh. But yeah, I did a lot of Shakespeare, and because it was difficult, and because it was so cool, and because I thought the theater in America, and I was a regional theater actor, and listen, nobody in the world had better theater than this town, this damn town, Chicago. For years, you had a little bit of competition from Minneapolis with the Guthrie Theater, but you guys had the Goodman Theater, you had early Steppenwolf, you had the Organic Theater, you had all those extraordinary actors that were not only modern, but you had all the actors that had been here for years during Drury Lane and all of that. And I used to come up here to audition, and I know that's not even counting Second City.
Sure.
And the fact that you have changed American comedy in the last 25 years and the first 25 years of the 20th century and the 21st century with all the people you sent to SNL. I remember being in a bar with George Wendt,
Oh, wow, yeah.
who loved Chicago. and he was showing me around to his haunts in Chicago. And I remember being in and I kind of want to say it was a sports bar, but I'm not sure. But an old one. And every single person there was funny. They were funny. Chicago funny, you know. And I also remember going to the old pump room.
The pump room, sure.
And seeing a photo on the wall of Bill Murray with 2 prostitutes. And Bill Murray, when they caught him doing because they had those phones at the tables, and he was just mugging, you know, for a photographer. But his bit was, he picked up the telephone, he went to the prostitutes for you. You know, but that's that Chicago smart. And I think because you guys live here and you're from here and surrounding areas, you guys forget what Chicago funny smart is. And then the other thing is I went to Hillary Rodham Clinton's suburb. Maybe somebody here knows what I'm talking about.
Ridge?
Yeah, and
sure.
I did a photo layout for a Chicago paper there. And it was like a dream of what America should be, that town. It's the perfect movie theater.
That's where I went to high
coffee
school.
What?
I went to high school
Are you
in Park
kidding?
Ridge.
That's what? It's paradise to me.
Was a beautiful place.
Were you bullied? Come on. So were you bullied? No. But I mean, to me that was like American Norman Rockwell paradise, and I didn't know about that. Just like I used to come here all the time in the winter. I finally came here to do a movie called The Mole Man of Belmont Avenue.
Oh,
for
sure.
some people from Second City. But I was here. I worked in the summer. Chicago is a paradise in the summer. You can walk everywhere. The plows don't put the snow on top of your car. Every intersection, there's a lesbian softball team, a Thai restaurant, an Irish bar, and an Italian restaurant. What more do you need?
Talking about comedy, I've always felt that comedy and horror have an association. I think right away, I think of Freddie, who is doing the most terrible, gruesome things, and then he's like the Bob Hope of horror. He throws in the little zinger.
Oh yeah. Well, we jumped the shark a couple of times. Some people think it was Nightmare 6. Freddie's dead, but what people have to remember is, and God rest his soul, Wes has to remember is, Wes had jokes in the first one. Mm-hmm. I'm your boyfriend now. He puts Tina's face on. He cuts his fingers off and they squirt green blood. You know, Freddie's doing jokes all through part 1. We just played to the audience a little bit too much.
Sure.
And part of that is the editor's fault, because you have to check the balance from the first reel to the last reel.
Sure.
And see if you've overloaded it. Sometimes I gutted somebody and lifted them up and gave them the best Al Pacino kiss of death. And that same take, they had me gut them and crack wise, like a Dirty Harry line, right? Make my day, a kind of a jokey line. And they would rely on that. The editors, because it's a percussive bump, it's a rim shot. They get the rhythm of the joke. It makes it easy for them to end the scene and cut to the next scene. But there were times when they shouldn't have done that, where we stepped over the line. But I always think of Freddie as a cruel clown.
Sure, yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Are you waving to us?
Oh, hi, nice to see you too.
Oh, hi. Is that how big our members are? What is it? Oh, I'm sorry.
We have what may be a surprise for you. We have some photos that were found on the internet, and not that kind.
I've been trapped.
And I believe that our friends back there will put them on. Here it is. These were taken at
Yeah. All right, there I
Industrial
am.
Light and Magic, yes.
Now look at this is, first of all, this is George Lucas's great, fabulous special effects team's studio. Thanksgiving, probably 76. Mark Hamill is sleeping on my couch. The girl next to me with the glasses wrote a little movie some of you may have heard of. My title, The Lost Boys.
Oh, yeah.
And we're all visiting ILM before they ever went to Marin, before they ever went to San Francisco, before they ever went up to George Lucas Skywalker Ranch. They were in a crappy studio in the San Fernando Valley, and they're all LA boys. And I saw, this day, I saw a Millennium Falcon, 1/3 scale, every rivet, every asteroid, smoke, bleached wound on the ship. It was the most extraordinary thing I'd ever seen. And I'm a guy that used to love my Revell
Sure.
model
Models,
kits,
yeah.
you know. I didn't sniff the glue. I just made the World War II aircraft carrier. More parts, Dad. But yeah, that's what that photo is.
We have another one, too, here. There's Mark.
There's Mark.
Inspecting the Death Star, I
That's
believe.
the Death Trench.
Oh, the trench that he would fly through. in the movie.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And one more. He's looking at, talk about the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
There it is.
That's one of the big ones. And the detail, you guys, never before in the history of film was detail that amazing. And that's one of the things they brought to it, so they could do these they weren't digital yet, but they were program cameras that they could move over a model, and then they could add lighting, and they could add other special effects that we had in those days to it and sell it to you.
It's pretty amazing.
By the way, both these young men look fine in jeans.
Did I ever tell you my Mark Hamill story?
No.
Well, this was a few years ago, and I'm going through my fan email, and there's one that says, "Hi, I'm Mark Hamill. I'm a big fan of your show. I've always enjoyed hosting horror shows, and I wanted to get in touch with you if we could talk." And I'm thinking, this is great if it's real. If it isn't, it's like the Ethiopian prince who's going to give me $2 million. And we went back and forth a couple of times, and I said, I really want to believe this, but I'm not sure that it's really you. And he said, okay, well, send me your phone number. And I thought, this is the other Ethiopian prince.
Nigerian prince?
Yes.
Yeah, like to loan you some money.
Exactly. And I said, I'm just not sure. And I remembered he was on Twitter. So I said, I tell you what, if you would put a message on Twitter, I'll know it's you. So he says, okay, I'll do that. So I'm waiting 1 hour, nothing. 2 hours, nothing. 3 hours, I'm like, okay. Then up comes a tweet from Mark Hamill saying, the cool thing that I discovered this summer was Svengoolie on MeTV. And I immediately sent him my phone number. He called. We talked for maybe, I want to say, 25 minutes. And it was just so nice. You've probably seen him in little clips on our show that he's been kind enough to send in to us. I was blown away by that.
Well, I saw Mark on the national tour of Amadeus, and I always knew how funny Mark was. But I saw him on the national tour of Amadeus, and he was brilliant. And I saw it with Di Bradley from England, and I saw the movie with Tommy Hulse, and I love Tommy Hulse's work. But Mark was my favorite Mozart of all. And not just because I knew him, no. He was my favorite Mozart. He was just wonderful in it. There's so much humor in that role in the original play, from Broadway. And he hit all the beats. And we know how important that is.
Yes.
And how difficult that is.
Very difficult. Yeah. Speaking of Mark again, I know we've told this story probably before, but were you partially responsible for him to audition?
No, I'm not responsible. No.
Well, you're not irresponsible.
Let me tell this story one more time, and just so you guys hear it, because the internet mutates stuff.
Yes.
It doesn't mean to. It's not bad. It's not, but it's malicious, but it happens. Mark and I and several other people were dear friends in the early and mid 70s, and Mark was starring in a television series right down at the Mary Tyler Moore Studios. And Mark was a huge television star at this time. And I was doing like one movie every 6 to 9 months. and then I would collect unemployment. Mark was buying the Heineken. We would watch old Bob Newhart reruns together and old Mary Tyler Moore reruns together. And Mark turned me on to the Kinks, to Monty Python, to all kinds of great stuff. And I desperately wanted to be in Apocalypse Now because I had read the script. Well, I was too young to play the Cookie, the Frederick Forrest role. If there's any children here, put your hands on their ears. But the famous line, "Fucking tigers!" But I could do a great Southern accent, and he was Cajun, and I could have figured that out. So I went in for that. I finally got my interview for Apocalypse Now, and I go in, and Fred Roos is there, the big producer, and I go in, and they immediately let me know that that part's been cast, and I'm downcast. And then they say, but we're going to take your photo for The Surfer, with Lawrence Fishburne, who surfs behind the PT boat,
Right.
In Vietnam. But somebody told me we're really looking for somebody that looks like a kid, and I had worn as much of a beard as I could grow then to look older for the Freddie Forrest part of the Cook. But I know that's off. And I'm dejected, and I'm starting to walk out of the office, and I'm wearing skin-tight green Levi's. I weigh 165 pounds. I'm solid surfer muscle. I've got a faded green military shirt hanging open over a wife beater, military green. I've got my work boots on. I've got a pair of fake dog tags on. And I'm walking out, and Fred Roos, the producer, walks me across the hall. He says, "Come with me a minute. Apparently, George Lucas," and I go, "The guy that did American Graffiti? George Lucas is directing some space movie." And they're having a problem with one of the characters. So I go in there, and they look at me, and apparently at one point in time they wanted the Harrison Ford role, Han Solo, to be older, like the uncle that comes to Thanksgiving and lets the kids smoke a joint. The cool uncle. And I'm not sure if it was Tom Selleck, I don't know who else, but some people had turned them down for this space movie. And Harrison Ford was under contract to Zoetrope, I think, still. Like Freddie Forrest was under contract to Zoetrope for Apocalypse Now. But I went in, they took a Polaroid of me, that's it. With a lamp on the ground with the shade off. I knew I wasn't, I knew they didn't think I was right. But when I was walking out, I saw some sides, which is the little bit of script that they stapled together for the actors coming in to read for certain parts. And the name on it was Skywalker. I just thought that was the coolest name in the world. And I thought it meant, oh, what a cool thing, they're going to have an Indian in outer space. What a great idea, because I thought it was an Indian name, Skywalker. Sounds like a great name, for a Native American, right? Anyway, I just stuck it in my pocket. I went across the street, great bar, it's famous now, it wasn't famous then, called the Formosa. I was drinking Irish whiskey then. I had an Irish whiskey with one of Elvis Presley's sound mixers and Errol Flynn's double. And I looked at the sides. Yeah, Luke Skywalker. And then I read the description. And it wasn't Native American. It was a futuristic name for a young prince-like guy. And I put the thing in my pocket, finished my Bushmills, got in my Roadster, drove across Laurel Canyon, pulled up to my apartment, and there in front of my door were Mark Hamill's Acme boots kicked off, and I knew, oh, Mark's here. He must be done shooting, or he must be done rehearsing. I go in, walk to the refrigerator, ice cold Heineken courtesy of Mark Hamill. Mark's on my couch, in his socks, watching the Bob Newhart show. It's like 4:30 in the afternoon, and I said, Mark, did you know George Lucas? We both loved American Graffiti. Do you know George Lucas is doing this space movie? And Mark, he doesn't really. And then I said, here's the sides. I said, this really sounds right for you. And Mark gets up and cracks open a Heineken, looks at it, and then he gets on the phone and calls his agent. Now, in all fairness, his agent may have submitted him already for this role, and he was just waiting to hear back. But I'm pretty sure I'm the guy. I'm the guy that told Mark about the project.
Fair enough.
I'm the guy that told Mark about the project, and Mark called his agent and gave his agent a little poke. That's all I'm saying. Mark was, you have to understand, Mark was already a television star. I'm a sidekick now. I was a sidekick. I do one movie a year. Big stars. I sidekicked Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jeff Bridges, Jan Michael Vincent, who was the biggest things in sliced bread back then. People forget that. Original Mechanic, world's greatest athlete, one of the biggest hit Disney movies ever made, blah, blah, blah. And so I was the sidekick, and also predominantly a Southern sidekick, even though I'd never played a Southerner before professionally on the stage. But Mark was a definite television golden boy at this time. And Mark was picking up the bill for the Heinekens, and taking us out, for tuna melts at the neighborhood coffee shops and stuff. But I lived so close to where he worked, and he loved my girlfriend and I so much that he was always around, and turning us on to stuff like Monty Python and like the Kinks and things like that. And it was just this, I tell this to you, and it has nothing to do with me contributing to Mark being Luke Skywalker. But I want you to think of the Tarantino movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And for me, and for the girl that wrote Lost Boys, and for the boy that became Luke Skywalker, for the little boy that became Freddy Krueger, and Willie from V, it was our Once Upon a Time in
That's so
Hollywood.
cool. Wow. Robert, I want to thank you for doing this, but also, in all the years I've known you, you've been very kind to me. You've given me some great advice along the way, and I really appreciate that. And you even inscribed something to me once saying that I was your favorite horror host. And if that doesn't mean a lot to me, I don't know what would.
Well, let me just say one thing. After this event is over, I would like to talk to you privately about the Rubber Chicken Commission, because I watched Svengoolie today have a photo opportunity with about 100 men with a rubber chicken. I almost said fried chicken. That's the wine speaking. But I love that there's an entire generation of people walking around with rubber chickens.
Let's hear it for Robert Englund, everybody. And now, how about
Thanks,
a
Rich.
word